This video is about Ludwig van Beethoven's Missa Solemnis. I'll explain the most important things about the work and the composer. Ludwig van Beethoven composed the Missa Solemnis between 1819 and 1823. He dedicated the work to his student and patron, Archduke Rudolf of Austria. Beethoven worked very long and hard on this composition. He studied old church music and religious texts for it. The Missa Solemnis is considered one of Beethoven's most important works. Missa Solemnis is Latin for solemn mass. A mass is an important service in the Catholic Church. Beethoven wrote the music to the texts of the mass. He wanted to create something particularly grand and significant. The Missa Solemnis is longer and more elaborate than a normal mass setting. The Missa Solemnis consists of 5 parts: Kyrie, Gloria, Credo, Sanctus, and Agnus Dei. These are the usual parts of a mass setting. Each part has its own text and its own music. The parts vary greatly in length and character. The work lasts about 80 to 90 minutes in total. Beethoven wrote the Missa Solemnis for 4 vocal soloists, a large choir, and an orchestra. The soloists are soprano, alto, tenor, and bass. The orchestra consists of many different instruments. The strings are particularly important, but the wind instruments and timpani also play a major role. The organ is also used. The Kyrie is the first part of the Missa Solemnis. It begins quietly and solemnly. The text consists of only a few words: Kyrie eleison, Lord, have mercy, and Christ eleison, Christ, have mercy. Beethoven repeats these words several times with different music. The Kyrie lasts about 10 minutes. The Gloria is the second part and much longer than the Kyrie. It is very lively and joyful. The text praises and glorifies God. Beethoven uses many different musical ideas here. Sometimes the whole choir sings, sometimes only the soloists. The orchestra plays an important role and supports the singing. The Credo is the longest part of the Missa Solemnis. It contains the Christian creed. Beethoven sets each sentence of the text in a special way. The music often alternates between loud and soft, fast and slow. The part where Jesus' suffering and death is mentioned is particularly impressive. The Sanctus begins very quietly and mysteriously. Then the music becomes louder and more solemn. In the middle section, there is a special solo for the violin. This passage is intended to represent the peace of God. The Sanctus ends with a cheerful and lively section, the Hosanna. The Agnus Dei is the last part of the Missa Solemnis. It begins solemnly and thoughtfully. The text asks for peace and mercy. As the piece progresses, the music becomes increasingly agitated. At the end, the plea for peace is heard once more. Beethoven concludes the work with a calm and hopeful mood.